As I mentioned in my previous video, I was going to do a little thing called finding your permanence. I'm feeling pretty good with most of my bag, as I said in that video, but we're going to start with kind of like my episode 1, which is finding a main overstable approach disc. I'm feeling really confident with my neutral and understable throwing putters, but overstable is an entirely different thing. I've got 5 different molds here, and I'm going to go ahead and go through like the quick elimination round of feel. That's probably the main thing when finding a disc. Almost all of these feel fantastic besides this one. Sorry, Infinite Disc. I really like the Infinite Disc lineup a lot. I've been throwing a lot of it. I throw the Exit Disc, the Alpaca, and the Chariot, and I love all 3 of them. They fly fantastic. I'm thinking about putting a Scepter in the bag, but I was really hoping to try out the Ruin, and see if I really liked it. And yeah, the feel wasn't there for me. It's pretty nice for a backhand. Really good flight overall. Really nice, consistent, controllable flight. But for a sidearm, which is probably what I use these main for, it just didn't feel good at all. But nice and shallow. And if you're a fan of the Rhino X or anything along those lines for feel, this thing would be your disc. It's very similar to maybe like a feeling of like almost a rock or something like that. Very sharp edge, good, nice kind of beaded profile, and really controllable overstable disc. So definitely recommended to some people, but it's just not for me. But then it leaves these 4. These all feel amazing, and I'll talk about them. We're gonna start with the A3 and the why I like it and why I don't like it. Reasons why I like it: feels good. Flies very far for an overstable approach. It's probably the second farthest, or one of the farthest flying approach discs I've ever thrown. Then it comes in a variety of plastics. It's just kind of hard to find them in flat top or mostly flat top. Feels good sidearm and backhand. And you can beat up the premiums to where you can get one that almost flies flippy, and that's always nice. It just takes a little while, and the 400 plastic is fantastic because it's very soft, very gummy. If you can find the flat top 400s, I know a lot of people love the 750s. I threw the A3 for a good little while, and the reason I went away from it was because I really like to throw with touch on a lot of my sidearm approach shots, and one thing the A3 wouldn't do for me is it would, if I tried to throw it soft on maybe a little Annie or a little Heiser, it kept coming out early because of how shallow it is. Very shallow disc, but again, if you're a fan of the Gator or any kind of like beaded overstable disc like a Justice, this is going to be the perfect complement for you. If you find one in flat top, it's really nice. Downsides, very shallow, at least for me. Hard to find in baseline plastics if you like to throw more baseline plastics, and the baselines beat up incredibly quick. But benefits: feels good, flies good, goes far. So if you are maybe a newer player and want a farther flying approach disc, maybe instead of like a Tomb or anything like that, something that goes real far and is grippy and grabs the ground and does all the things for you, try out the A3. The reason it's not in my bag is because it is just it just has parts of it that are missing for what I want, as well-rounded and comfortable. Talk about the Zone. Obviously, probably the most popular approach disc ever made. I don't know of anyone who hasn't at least heard of the Zone much. I mean, I think almost everyone I know has tried a Zone and has their likes and dislikes with it, but everyone pretty much loves it. I know a lot of people threw it. I threw the Zone for a very long time. It was in my in the bag for a year or so ago. Feels great. Really nice overstable. Fights the wind really good. Shallow. Not as shallow as the A3. It's almost perfect. It's just really hard to find a baseline again, and the baseline I did find beat up and became flippy way too quickly. So the Zone is really nice. I really like it. It's just I need one that I can hit, again, that little bit of more touch. I can't have a disc that will fade almost every single time for like straighter bending approach shots. It feels great. I could definitely see myself bagging. I can see myself bagging 2 of them easily and play just fine, but it doesn't complete everything I want. But benefits Zone, beadless, comfortable, flies incredible. It's easily the most popular, if probably the best approach disc of all time. And I mean, it could find itself back in my bag. That's in the strong maybe pile. Where these two are like, I don't think I'm ever gonna really bag them again. The zone is very strong. Maybe I could even see myself going to it. Definitely the top three of the 5 I've got, and probably it's at least tied for second. And now I've been throwing the tactic a lot, and I want to throw the pig. I was throwing the pig for a little bit. If you go back to like the Dod Feather Dice Disaster, I threw it a couple of times, and this goes just as far as the A3. I love the grip of the R Pro plastic. I know a lot of people swear by this disc. It would just take me learning it, and when I had it, it did all the things I wanted it to do. I could throw it with touch. It's nice. It's got the right depth. It's just as deep as like a zone. The only thing with it is that you can't find one in premium that feels good. And that's not really a problem because they're pretty kind of easy to find. But I know a lot of people who just absolutely adore the pig. Not as many people as adore the zone because it's not quite as available. But the pig is really, really good. I've got a couple of them. I don't know if I'm going to throw them. I'm definitely going to give them a try again over this off season. And we'll be battling it out with the disc I have been throwing, and it's been in my bag, is the Razor Claw or the Tactic. Easy to find in baseline. The only problem is it's really hard to find in premium, and that the premiums are just so overstable. And the good runs in premium are also hard to find because a lot of them are really domey. So hard to find is probably the main reason why I wouldn't throw these. It's almost the same for the pig in this Ricky plastic, but I've got a few friends who's got them, and I can probably get a couple if I really need them. The Tactic's what's been in my bag. I've been really liking it. It comes in baseline plastic, so I can really get that rip on it. The only problem is it doesn't go as far as the pig, or the zone, or the A3. It's probably about the tomb level of distance, and but it's really good. I really like the Tactic. It's going to be battling it out with the pig probably, and probably the zone. It's like these 3 are the ones that I'm really thinking about. All 3 fantastic approach discs. Recommend all of them. Well, again, I'll go through the downsides and upsides. If you don't like a thumb track, this is not the disc for you. It's perfect depth though, so there's an upside. And also if you like a thumb track, the thumb track's perfect for you. Super grippy, grabs the ground really well, and even in baseline starts off very overstable. It just feels so good that I definitely could see myself throwing it well. You can do everything with it. You can beat one up, and it can be your touch shot disc. And I know a lot of people who swear by it. Again, pig, fantastic, right there with the zone for benefits. And this is the only downside. It's hard to find in premium, and I guess the thumb track can be an issue for some people. It was a little bit for me. I definitely could get used to it though. And then Tactic. Downsides, distance, hard to find in premium, and hard to find good runs in premium, so it makes it even harder to find. Upsides, baselines fly great, very grippy. You can beat them up to fly every slot, even to understable. I had an understable Tactic that could literally flip and turn, but I lost it. So, also other upsides is that it's really controllable on the ground, like the pig, and also nice and slow, nice and deep, comfortable backhand and forehand. So definitely really like the Tactic. If you're a fan of the Harp and wish it was a little bit more overstable, definitely recommend the Tactic. That's the reason the Harp isn't here. It's because I like the Tactic more. I like the way it feels, and I like the way it flies more. Anyways, so we've got 3 options here. I honestly would like to hear your thoughts on what I should throw, or why you throw any of these discs, or maybe a different disc. I hope you enjoyed this little kind of like commentary video, shank some shots. Oh yeah, I also didn't mention that Tactic is probably the deepest putter here. It's very deep. So there's the last downside or upside, depending on how you feel about approach putters. Anyways, Team Cedar Creek. Cedar Creek is done. We are actually working on new pin positions, so that should be epic. But definitely recommend you going out there. The only way it's going to get better if you guys go and play. Hawkeye, Arkansas, and I'll leave the I'll leave the link to the store in the description, and I'll catch you guys on the course. Peace.